Having some amazing speakers throughout the day. It's we've started about 5 hours ago. I think I'm about halfway. We have 24 speakers on tap going throughout the day. So looking forward to continuing the conversations. And right now, next up on queue, we have Geoff Hetherington from the Australia's East Coast, joining me all the way from Perth, Australia. And then at the half past point, we have Olga Andrienko joining us from Europe as well, from Semrush. So I'm really looking forward to what we've got in store for you, the people who are going to be joining us as well. And I'm just going to do a quick little intro before I bring Geoff on, and really just talk about what's important today and why are we here, and what is strategystorming.co as well. And really what we want to do is come and celebrate the grand opening of the online strategy studio and shop that is changing how we rethink, reinvent, and reimagine how to do better business. I found over the years that we really kind of need to equip ourselves, and I call it an expedition, but a lot of people just call it business. It's like, how do we prepare ourselves for what's to come, and how do we use that knowledge of riding a bike, and how do we apply that today and tomorrow, and how do we balance all these different things as well. We're constant in a state of flux in terms of what we need to do, how we need to do it, what's a priority, and sometimes we're seemingly sacrificing today for tomorrow and tomorrow for today as well. So what suffers? Our business suffers at the end of the day. So we're here to change that, to sort of create that direction, create those tools, create those tactics, create those strategies as well that you can use and come to rely on to help you be creative at crafting strategy and being creative at what you're doing as well. So we're going to be going through a lot here today. There's some amazing prizes. You'll be able to get some 3D glasses, which I'll cover everything at the end as well. But there's, just to quickly get started, if you want to go and win a easy strategy lab coat, you can point your camera at that QR code and you can win one, because we all won't need to change how we look, right? And I call it active wear for the creative strategist. So I'd love for you to win that, and take a look at the site as well as we get into this. So thank you very much and welcome, Geoff.
Thanks, Doyle. Geez, I was just thinking about it before. It's almost a decade that we've known each other, and I've just watched you go from strength to strength. I mean, the books you published, and now with Strategystorming and your 3D strategy model, it's just fantastic to see. So thank you for inviting me to come along and have a chat, so to speak.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure, and always good to talk with you, Geoff. You've always got some great ideas and insights as well. That's why I invited you. It's like, Geoff, yes, Geoff's on the list.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, for sure. So just give us a bit of background, and then you want to talk about the 3 levers.
Yeah, look, I'll probably just pop into the slide, because I've got one slide that's the sort of, who I am thing, just to get that out the way.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead. You should be able to share your screen.
Yep, great. Yeah. Thank you. I'll just pop up to that. Do the share. There we go. Terrific. Okay, folks, let me just get my ugly mug out of the way, and we'll go here. So I'm really going to be talking about a thing I call the 3 levers. When you've got your overall strategy, there's several layers of strategy, at least in the way that I look at business. And these 3 levers, actually, you need a strategy for each one of them if your business is going to be successful. I need to point out up front, what's going to happen in the next 15 or so minutes is going to be a little bit different, because there's not going to be any rainbows or unicorns. It's going to be useful stuff that you can take away and use. But like I said, it's only 15 minutes, so we're going to go fast. I tend to talk fast, so Doyle's recording this. That's a good thing, but it might feel like you're drinking from a fire hose. But at the end, you can get in touch with me if you've got any questions in any case. So who am I? Look, I call myself the profitability coach. I work with the owners of established 6 or 7 figure businesses who are sick and tired of feeling like an employee, who want to make some more revenue. More importantly, they want more time to spend doing the things they want, the people that matter most to them. I'm one of about 45 certified governing board chairs in Australia. I sit in a couple of other boards. I had 30 plus years as a C-suite executive, all of which I say not to tell you how wonderful I am, but just to say I've been around the block a couple of times and enjoyed the journey. So it's pretty good fun. What I'm going to be talking about today is the 3 strategic levers, and they're not the way you normally do them. The first lever is always revenue, and understand these levers are like macro levers because there's lots of smaller ones underneath them. But revenue is the first one, and that's where you need strategies for increasing your income. The second one is capacity. You need strategies to actually meet your increased demand and your ability to deliver to people. And that's not just loading things on a truck and getting them there on time. It's also about how productive you are in your day, how productive your staff are, how effective and efficient your internal systems are. And then the third strategy you need is obviously cost control. And again, it's not about cutting costs and all that sort of stuff, but it's about understanding the costs, understanding your variable costs, and understanding which costs are maybe things that you're paying for that no longer serve you. Before we get into those, we've got to deal with the dreaded B word. This is a word that scares a lot of businesses and business owners. And the B word, of course, stands for budget. You've got to have a budget if you're going to control your business. You know, I work with a lot of businesses from $500,000 turnover to 10 million turnover, and you'd be surprised how many of them have a P&L that doesn't have a budget attached to it. So they really have no idea. They've got no targets they're aiming for. And budgets are so easy to put together. If your accountant or even your bookkeeper's halfway decent, they should be able to help you put together an accountant. Heavens, you could just take your results for last year and decide I'm going to grow by 5%, and bang, there's a new budget for you. Having something is much better than nothing. I tell you what, if you don't have a budget, that means you've got less control and you're really knocking down your chances of your business being terribly successful. Here's one way that I work with my clients in terms of budgeting is, here in Australia in particular, the Melbourne Cup happens the first Tuesday. It's the biggest horse race in the Southern Hemisphere. And then most businesses start to progressively shut down and don't pick up again to the first week of February when schools go back. So essentially, you could say that out of 12 months, there's 2 months of every year that not much happens, or at least businesses don't plan for them. So I teach my clients to actually, as a strategy, to look at the 10 active months in their business and try and achieve their annual budget in those 10 months, which means the 2 months that are left over are what I call your holiday fund. They're the two, anything that you sell in there, you try and shunt aside into another fund and you use it to pay for holidays or things you want. But actually budgeting your annual turnover to happen in the 10 most active months in your business is a great way to start driving sales and performance a lot more. The other thing you need to understand when you're setting budgets is you need to understand the worth of your customers. You know, what's your average transaction value? Again, it's something that so many businesses don't seem to understand. And it's really simple. You divide your sales by your number of transactions that you have in a period of time, and that gives you your average transaction value for that period of time. But the next important metric to feed into this strategy of creating meaningful budgets is you've got to know your customer's lifetime value. And your customer's lifetime value is simply the average transaction value by the number of transactions they have for however long they stay a customer. If you've got a customer who stays with you for 12 months and they do 6 transactions a year, and each of those transactions is worth $100, it's quite easy to work out their lifetime value to the business. Again, when you're planning for your sales and things like that, if you know your average transaction value in particular, it is so much easier to start planning. So you can plan like this. Choose a revenue target, divide it by your average transaction value, and that answer is how many units you need to sell or how many customers you need to get to. You should also check your history for high and low months of sales, and then just plug your numbers in appropriately. Once again, if you've got a halfway decent accountant or bookkeeper, they can probably do this for you. Okay. You can also use a profit method, which I'm not going to go into, but it's another part. The key thing I want to get across here with you is you need an overall strategy for your business. You then need strategies by the various departments or moving parts of your business. And then you need to have a strategy around your numbers. And the basic strategy around your numbers is to have a goddamn budget. Because if you don't have a budget, you really don't have a strategy. You're just wondering what the heck's going to happen to you. All right. And of course, the dreaded thing with numbers means you've got to understand one of these things, a profit and loss. But really, there's only 5 lines on there you need to follow and understand. You need to understand revenue. You need to understand your cost of goods sold, or what's called your variable costs. They're the costs that go up or down depending on how many sales you do. You need to understand your gross profit, which is simply, you know, the cost it took to produce the product you sold minus what you made for sales. You need to know your fixed expenses, that's your rent and your HR costs and all those sorts of things, and what's left at the end, your net profit. Really quite simple once you get to know how to use it. And again, a really good accountant will actually do you a favor, and they'll produce what they call a sensitivity report, which will tell you if there's any lines in your P&L that have gone above or below budget by too much, which you need to focus on. That's why you need business coaches and people like that, because once the accountant's identified problems, then a business coach, a good coach, will help you fix those issues. So, you know, like I said, really quick formulas, don't want to belabor the point, but you need to understand these things from a strategic as well as a tactical point of view to run your business properly. So your revenue minus your cost of goods sold gives you gross profit. Your gross profit minus your fixed expenses gives you net profit. Again, only 5 lines you need to understand. But if you don't understand these numbers and don't understand how to read a P&L, then guess what? You're probably suffering from a thing called arithmophobia. Arithmophobia is a fear of numbers, not a good thing. So you need to get over that. And again, use your accountant or your bookkeeper to help you with that sort of stuff. So why are numbers so important to your strategy? Because they help you make decisions. Decisions. If you know your numbers, your ability to make relevant and more likely to succeed decisions improves a hell of a lot. Now, knowing your numbers will enable you to track the performance of your business across different areas. It'll help you understand what's working, what's not quicker, so you can pivot and change if you need to. You can go back and redress your strategy, go back and change tactics if you need to. Knowing your numbers is really just the mark of a business owner. So, and it's all about this stuff. It's all about here. So revenue is the first thing we're going to talk about really quickly. All right. Lever number one's revenue. And there's really only a number of things that you can actually use. But the first thing you need to understand in today's economy is you need to become top line driven. More businesses fail because their cash flow is not a flow, it's a dam, than any other reason at all. Cash flow is king, as they say, but no cash flow kills your business quicker than anything else. I've had customers come to me on paper that have got $10 million, but they've got not in cash, it's all locked away in assets. So first thing you need to do strategically in the business these days is try and focus on becoming top line driven. And the easiest way to do that, if you're in a sales hump, is nearly every small business and medium business I talk to is they're undervaluing what they do. So you can increase your prices. You can always, of course, add products or expand your range and offering. You could decrease the utility of products and services by moving down. You can do the McDonald's, would you like fries with that order, which is still $1 billion a year with them. You can up, down, you can cross sell. You can sell more to existing clients. You can try and get more clients. There's a whole heap of things. They're just a number of the most obvious micro levers that sit under the macro lever of revenue. But the bottom line is, if you don't have a strategy to increase your revenue in a sustainable fashion, then your business is going to be in trouble. So first thing to do is figure out what your revenue strategy is going to be. Once you've settled on the overall strategy for your business, where you want to end up in 12 months, 3 years, 5 years, whatever planning period you're using, but you really need to be looking at your strategy for revenue moving forward. And you can also do things like your product mix. Your product mix is, if you've got a product that accounts for 40% of your sales and product 2's 20% and product 3's 30% and your sales target's 100K, then you've got to sell $40,000 worth of product 1 or 20,000 of product 2. So you can actually look at your product mix and sales and use this as another way of planning. And you can look at things and go like, well, product 2, I only sell 20 grand worth, but the gross profit is 10% higher than product 1. So I need to come up with a strategy and a series of tactics to improve the sales of product number 2, because I'm going to make more money from it. I'm going to make more profit from it. So you need to understand your profit mix, which is something to look at. Okay, strategy number 2 we need to look at is your capacity, and more importantly, your capacity to deliver. So how much more business can you deal with? You need to plan for this. What would happen if I was to say to you, here's 20% more customers, here's 30 or 40% more customers? Could your business handle it? Could your systems handle it? Could you look after people as well as they'd expect? Could you actually get out there and service those people the way you're serving your clients now, or even better? The thing is, many businesses get so obsessed with turnover, they forget they've got to actually deliver things. And they forget that part of delivery is actually being competent and effective and efficient in the way they run their business. They've got to be productive. A lot of executives I see, one of the things I work a lot with them on is their personal productivity, because in the end, that's part of their capacity to help the business deliver to their clients. So, you need to look at things too, more prosaic things like, what effect on costs would a 20% increase in business have? Well, we talked before about cost of goods sold, your variable costs, which tend to go up the more you sell, but a lot of them hit zero utility, where there is no more expense, even though you're making more products. If you're, say, running a dry cleaning business, once you've got the business set up, the incremental cost of a shirt is something like 2 cents. They still charge you $20. That's not a bad profit margin from incrementalism, is it? Workforce planning. Do you need to increase if you're in a manufacturing situation? One of my clients is an insect screen manufacturer, been around for 30 years, and we've had to open up a second factory, and we've had to increase the number of casuals because they're starting to get some spikes in their business tied to warmer weather. So their capacity to deliver last year was a lot less than this year, even though the economy's changed, because this year they actually had a strategy in place to cope with the increased sales they were getting. And you need to look at what I call the mechanics of your situation, which is the production rate. Can you increase it? How long will it take? Can you increase and improve your delivery speed and accuracy? Those sorts of things. But the strategy you have in your business to deliver, to create the capacity to handle an increase in business or to run the business as effectively as possible is something you need to spend some time on working with. And here's the one all the accountants love and every business person hates and marketing people hate most of all. Yes, it's cost control. Now, again, I'm not advocating you should cut costs necessarily. What you need to do is understand what you're paying for and understand if it serves the goals and the strategy of your business. If you're still paying for a magazine subscription from 5 years ago and no one reads it, it's obviously not serving your goals. If you're leasing a particular van or something and it's just ticked over year after, but you actually don't need a van for delivery anymore, you need to get rid of it. So you need to look at your costs from the point of view of the variable cost, the costs of goods sold, what costs are associated with me getting my sales. Can I be more effective? Can I be more efficient there? Do I need to talk to other suppliers? Those sorts of things. Can I work on a just-in-time supply of materials instead of a just-in-case mindset? And then you've got to look at your fixed costs. Is there ways and means I can renegotiate my insurance? Can I renegotiate my rent? Can I go back to a bank and actually consolidate all my loans so that I'm actually paying less? Are there ways I can reduce the cost? Because understand this, once your revenue's coming in, you've got cash flow, the more you can control your costs to keep them down, the higher your net profit's going to be. So you need to have a strategy with your cost control. And part of the strategy with my guys, with my clients, is once a year we go through all those things that people just turn over. So that's things like public liability insurance, professional liability insurance, rent insurance, car insurance. We go through all those and we put them out to tender each year. And it's amazing how much money you can save. So that's a strategy, is to literally go through our costs and ask, does it still serve the overall strategy of the business? If it doesn't, get rid of it. If it does, can I get it at a cheaper cost from someone else? And that's really, really important to look at the business from that point of view. So, your cost control lever, you need to understand that, your variable costs will tend to increase with more sales, but hopefully your profit goes up. So that's a good thing. You need to look at your fixed costs to see if they can be reduced. And you can get your industry benchmarks. The ATO has, as much as we all hate the tax department, has got a research and statistics department, and they've actually got in detail the stats for a whole heap of industries. And you can go there and you can have a look and benchmark yourself. So if you're in restaurants and you're spending 35% on wages, you're so much above the benchmark. That's fantastic. But if you're spending 85% on wages, you're in trouble because the benchmark's actually about 45. And the other thing to understand about benchmarking is when you look at the benchmark, that's the average. Now, no business owner worth his salt wants to be average. So once you establish what your benchmark is, you need another, strategy to make sure that your business comes in above the benchmark, because the benchmark just means you're, quite frankly, mediocre. If you're under the benchmark, it means you're going out of business. But the benchmark simply means you're in the middle of the pack and no one wants to be there. So you need to think about, how can I raise the performance of my business to get above those things? And that may be doing a line-by-line check on your P&L. But do you need to do that? Well, if you've got a good accountant, you don't. If you've got an accountant who's just a historian who tells you what did happen, but not what is happening and what's likely to happen, then you probably need to get a new accountant. You want an accountant who's going to be almost like a virtual CFO with you, and he's going to work hand in glove with you to analyze the costs of your business and the sales and the profits of your business and point out those things that maybe no longer serve you and the strategies you want. And the key thing to ask yourself with all your costs, especially annual ones, is, have I gone out to try and get fresh quotes? Because fresh quotes is a way you can save so much money. That and consolidating business loans. And here we are with accountants. And, you know, I must say, this is something I do with all my clients. Your accountant must give you a timely P&L. That means a P&L that's only like 2 weeks past the month that's ended, not 2 months past it. They need to be able to give you a budget report, how you're doing against budget. They need to give you a report that tells you what your variance is to budget. So if you have a cost that's 5% above budget or 5% below budget, it should be highlighted to you. They should give you a monthly cash flow forecast so you know what money to expect in. They should give you a monthly profit forecast so you know how the business is actually doing. And that monthly sensitivity analysis ties in with the budget variance. They need to identify and give to you an analysis that says, here's 6 lines which are outside the scale that we wanted against budget, and you need to look after them. And, you know, more importantly, you as the business owner shouldn't have to do a line-by-line check. I mean, you should now and again, but you should have a decent enough accountant to look after it for you. So that's it. You need your overall business strategy, and then you need strategies for each department. But underlying that, the only three things that a business owner can truly affect that drive the bottom line are the macro levers of revenue, of capacity to deliver, and control of their costs. And if you've got strategies for each of those things based on the micro levers under each of those, the chances are your business is going to be more successful than most of them. So thank you for your attention. If you'd like to have a chat, if you'd like to just shoot the breeze, you can meet me there, linkbusinessinstitute.as.me/let's chat. And I promise you, not a sales call, we'll just have a chat. And if I can help you, I will. And if I can't, well, we won't worry about it any further. Okay. So thanks, Doyle. That was.
Thanks, Geoff. Yeah, no, that was pretty good. Pretty detailed explanation of cost control. And what was the third one?
So revenue, capacity to deliver, and cost.
Capacity. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, no, I haven't had that explanation for quite some time. So thank you.
Look, it's really boring stuff, but I've found in particular the last 2 years that so many business owners don't understand basic stuff like that, and they don't understand it's part of the strategy, the overall strategy of the business. You know, it's all very well to say we're going to grow by 200% in the next 3 years, and that's our strategy. Well, dude, you've got to build something. You know,
there's a huge missing piece here with what you're saying, is that you can have a strategy, but your strategy has to include your cost, capacity, and control as well, right?
Yeah.
Without those. Yeah, that's how you operate the business.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Unfortunately, too many people view strategy as an airy-fairy thing that the bosses do, and they don't think that's got to filter down. Where a good business will understand that there is strategy at all sorts of levels in the business. And, you know, once you've got the overall strategy for the business, the big picture where you're going, and you've started to break that maybe down to tactics, you then need to look at, you know, what's our operating strategy? How are we going to drive revenue? How are we going to deliver? How are we going to increase capacity? And how are we going to control our costs without just putting an axe through them, which is what so many people do, and then wonder why they're losing customers because they can't do anything for the customers because they've got no staff. But anyway, so that's it. That's the 3 big levers. And I just think you need a strategy for each one of those in your business to support the overall strategy and the stuff that you're talking about with your strategy storming.
Yeah, as well. No, thank you, Geoff. That's really, really helpful. And then it kind of got me thinking too of, sometimes we overlook kind of some of the most basic stuff.
Yep. Certainly when I was working with Telstra as one of their senior execs, we often would see these grandiose plans, and then we go, excuse me, how are we getting to the customers, or how are we making money?
By the way,
just quietly, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you so much, Geoff, for joining me today, and thanks. Welcome, Olga. I saw you come in. Thanks for joining in today. I'm just going to wrap up with Geoff, and then we'll get started. So thank you for that. Geoff, a true pleasure always to talk with you and get your new insights and ideas as well in terms of what's really important for that. So once again, thank you so much. And you did say how we can reach out to you as well.
Yeah, look, it's elitebusinessesinstitute.as.me/let's have a chat. Or just find me on LinkedIn. That's the easiest thing. But like Perfect. I said, I guarantee anyone from here who gives me a call, not a sales call, let's just have a chat, help me understand your business, and I guarantee I'll give you 2 or 3 strategies you can actually use, because that's the play.
You're like a doctor, Geoff. Dr. Geoff.
Dr. Geoff.
Business Dr. Geoff.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Thanks for the invite here. Really appreciate
it. No, always my pleasure. Always good to learn new things from you. Thank you for that. Excellent. So if you want to hang around, feel free, Geoff, or join in on the live streams that we're broadcasting throughout the day as well. So thanks again. All right. So my next guest is Olga Andrienko from SEMrush, right? Did I say that right? Or are we calling it SEMrush?
Yeah, all correct. Andrienko and SEMrush. Yes.
Yeah. When did you change the name though? Because I think it was about 18 months ago. You kind of started to use SEMrush instead of, I always knew it as SEMrush, and maybe I'm just old school, but I don't know.
Yeah, we did the restyling in December 2019. And that's where, like, primarily we were going to change the visual look and feel. And then also I really wanted us to define how we pronounce SEMrush, like, for everybody, because it was always like Team SEMrush and Team SEMrush. Yeah, so I think it was fun as well. So we were very local, but if you're like, when you're growing, you actually kind of need to define yourself, like how you pronounce yourself. So yeah, at that point, SEMrush was just like universal, I think, and it just made sense.
Well, that's good, because yeah, I mean, you took those steps to clarify it, and it seemed very deliberate too, kind of watching from the outside as well. And so that was, I mean, if you look at it, you've sort of been an amazing journey of growth, I would say. Can you walk us through, like, where were things with SEMrush like in 2015, 2016 kind of thing?
Yeah, I actually, recently started collecting all of the things we were doing and how we were growing. So there were several pillars, I would say. So first, we really were so it all started like in 2013 when we really started focusing on marketing. So before we had the blog, we also worked with a few affiliates who pushed SEMrush to their audience, and also we had the toolbar. Now it still exists in SEO Quick, and so we were promoting SEMrush there as well. But then in 2013, we started really actively working on social media with influencers, and so most of it was organic, and ads were not very like connected with anything I was doing, for example. So we started with social, and I just joined as social media manager, and I started looking at where I could fit, not only as SEMrush, but also as Olga with my skills, because I had a background of head of sales and marketing back then, like for a bus company. And I actually I think it was a very interesting thing of actually more of a senior person joining social media, and then not just think, okay, I need to publish something and I need to grow the audience, but how do we fit? Like, what's our where I could apply my skills best. And I think I entered like also from a place like an authority in my mind, but not in SEO, but just, okay, we need to take space, what that space is. And I felt like I would never be the expert in SEO who would give advice as technical as some other experts. For example, Dixon from Majestic account that was backlink to, he was he was managing the account of them on social media, and then he was super advanced, and I thought, okay, I will never have the experience that Dixon already has. And Marcus Dover, who was back then at Search Metrics, now he's with us. He also really was very active. So I felt like there were experts that were also building the tools. There were also like companies like Moz who were building this community, and they were really giving the space for experts to share their knowledge. And where I felt, okay, we just need to hug everyone. Like I felt like we need to ensure that we amplify everyone's voice, like out of all of those experts. So I spend most time not on our page, but on pages of others. And that was our space. Like we were giving, so we were finding those rising stars, and I was like, I wanted to give them space. I found a lot of articles that was worthy of reading, and I shared that. So I just I also said thank you to everyone who shared our contact back then. So that was more of a give mentality, that, and then just attitude that we had. And then we started the Twitter chat, which really then was a thing, and it really picked up. And in first 9 months, I was able to grew our audience from 7K to 24K. So it really where everybody just started hanging around. And at the same time, we started working with influencers, and we gave a lot of free accounts. So just also not asking for anything, please share how you love SEMrush, please just test it out and tell us what you think. And that really got that really sat well with everybody, because we were not asking for any promotional things. And that really went well together with social media and influencers. And what we then did, so our approach till this day is that we monitor every mention, and we reply to most of them. And I think the more you care, the more people write to you, and they might be upset, but also the person who is upset but is sharing this on social media actually wants you to change this. So the upset customer who will never come to you again, they will not bother with anything on social media. And if the person is tweeted that you have something wrong and they want you to fix it, so when you actually fix it, they go from negative to positive. And that's how we also were growing the fans, and also reinforcing the trust in the brand always with every new thing we fixed. So yeah, that's what also our audience now, our community calls us out on every little thing that we do wrong, and big thing as well. And we are very honest. So when we mess up, we say we messed up. And when we seriously messed up, that's where our CEO sends an email to the audience once every 2-3 years when we have some big mistake, which also shows that we are very human. So we are very close to the audience. So that's, I think, what got us really really growing. And then the restructuring in 2015 brought a lot of regional focus. So we didn't split by channels, we split by language, and also by even by country that we focused more on. So France is one of our core regions. So we had the French team, and then we hired people who spoke French. Then for US and UK, there were 2 separate teams, also working with regional influencers and regional events. And we also had the German team and Italian team and Spanish team. They covered both Latin America and Spain. And I had the funniest region that was called rest of the world, basically everything else, from Australia to Brazil. And that's where I think they just like let us run loose and do whatever. So, and it was about quantity more than quality, because like we reported on the financial metrics, on the registrations, but ultimately we reported on the amount of marketing events or marketing like activities that we were doing, webinars, we again influencers, free accounts that we gave, and like mentions of SEMrush. And so I would say that whenever you enter the new market, the more you do, the better, and then even focus on quantity and not quality, because you never figure out what sticks, and just like let your team just really roam free. Back in the days, that was just very, very startup beat was still maybe like 150 people within SEMrush, or 200, but that was a fun time. And that's how we also met you, Doyle, when we were really working with a lot of influencers in Australia. And we were waking up at 2 a.m. in the morning to do also Twitter chat for Australia, for example. Or we had one fun activity with the pizza time, where we said, well, like sign up and then for pizza time with us, and then we'll deliver pizza to your office. And then we picked like 7 people, and that was like 3 p.m. in Australia, and we needed to go to the office early in the morning to ensure. And then we also ordered pizza at 7 a.m. in the morning. It was so to have just like
There's nothing wrong with pizza at 7 a.m. in the morning, though.
Yeah, but it was just so we did like everything we could, like every little bit, and then for Brazil we figured out that PR would work, so we hired a boutique agency like for 3K or something. So it was just like it was a lot of experimentation, and that was a beautiful time.
Was there a way that you kind of set up these experiments? Because I don't know if you've noticed, and I'm going to talk about it at the end, but I've created these strategy lab codes so that you can experiment with your strategy and marketing when you put on your strategy lab coat. But my question to you is, did you deliberately experiment, or did you just kind of brainstorm a bunch of ideas and say, hey, let's try this and let's try that? Or can you walk me through that process?
Yeah. So we are big believers and adopters of agile and agile marketing as well, and we use Scrum framework. So I think since 2015 we started, and then we're using this till this day. So we work with sprints, and back in the days we used 3-week sprints, which is quite long. So we have a sprint planning, then there is a team stand up every day, and then there is a sprint review and retrospective. And so that's where we had a 2-hour meeting with post-it notes, and we then each brainstormed silently. Then also we wrote down the things that we had to do. Then we had the big paper where we had lined even the country sometimes, or the projects we were working on, and then also thought what we could do differently. And basically then we had team stand up, which allowed us really to see whether we're on track, whether we have to work on something differently. And then in the retrospective, we were taking an honest look at what really didn't work well, what we need to change. There's also a retrospective is a great way to ensure that the team kind of is very it has a healthy dynamics, because then people share what maybe they're upset with someone in the team, maybe something's not going well, and then it just also ensures that the team is honest and transparent with each other. And I think this is already a very fruitful environment for any thoughts. and ideas. Also, we had brainstorms, like again, silent brainstorm, then we share ideas, and then we pick, like we vote with the 3 dots. Even with in every retrospective, there is like you cluster the problems after saying what went well as well. And then everybody can vote for 3 things. And then we pick them and then unwrap, and then also set the deadlines, and then who is responsible for like taking this further. So that's, I think, how we were able to move that quickly. Also, after each sprint, and every team was using this, we had a demo. So we were able to see what the French team was working on. We were able to see then like what works in US and UK. And also, like, that was extreme like exchange of knowledge that again pushed everyone together, because we thought, oh, this is just such a cool idea, and we implemented that. So I really recommend Scrum. Now we are on the 1-week sprints to work really fast, but this opens up also just, well, like for the team, it's not only what you do but how you do it. And I believe that with the agile marketing principles and Scrum framework, like this really enables like the team to decide and get this freedom and also sense of ownership and really move quicker.
Oh, it's fascinating stuff. Yeah, I mean, that whole agile methodology really can kind of move things forward, and it's cool to see that that's kind of what you used and stuck to for your experiments as well. What do you think, just to kind of wrap up, maybe one last question, if you don't mind, what's sort of your biggest challenge that you have, and where's SEMrush headed as well?
So right now, being a public company and a private company is 2 different things. So for example, when we went public in 2021, my biggest challenge was just to shift my mindset, that the only obstacle and the only challenge we have like is time, because we need to move so quickly. And the campaigns, they suddenly had to be 10 times bigger. Also, the focus on the brand and expectations on how we grow the brand, and that's my department. Then just I felt that we still could experiment, and we do, like we retained that freedom. But it's just responsibilities is even higher and bigger. So this is like for the internal team now. We just needed to shift our mindset quickly, and I think that's what we managed. But also, for example, being like this SEMrush bread, so I was there like for 9 years, so I wasn't able, like I was never working for a public company. Also with the we are now running huge campaigns with millions in ad budget. And I've never run this, and I've never produced the content for something like this. And I'm very well aware of my own, I would say, gaps, or like something that just I don't have experience in. So also we're moving more to the lifestyle brand, and so we needed more emotive marketing. And that's where like I really understood, like, so I needed the team that came from retail and FMCG. So I hired, now we have the global campaigns team from Shark Ninja and Espresso, Nestle, and all those household brands. So I try to like compensate for everything like I can bring to the table, and now we have the super experienced team that can really take this forward very quickly. And they've all run this, they've done this a million times for retail. So, and they have the challenge of also adjusting to SaaS, and then digital more, and also no different, just like seeing the registrations, trial and payments come in, like not through resellers, like some 30, 60 days after, but like having the analytics really on hand, and very quickly. So yeah, that's, I think, just also the scale and the growth for us is now, and has been always the challenge, but it's a good one. And I always try to shift my teams, like shift this experience around or add the experience as we did to ensure that we are moving as fast as we could.
Oh, it's a fascinating story, Olga. Really appreciate it. And thanks so much for sharing with us as well. So, and so what's next then?
Next,
Yeah.
well, if we think globally, that's we will be launching a very unique campaign with our client, and putting like spotlight on her, and also like having this as a global big campaign. I'm very excited about it, because I think the beauty is that like we are not the hero of the story, like our clients are, and we need to put our like selves as mentors, or like as help they have, like our clients have on their journey. So yeah, this is a lifestyle campaign that we're launching, and in January next year. So, and that's definitely a very interesting project we're working on. Also, we're bringing back the Global Marketing Day, the 24-hour non-stop conference. No studio in Sydney this time,
Really?
but
Oh.
yeah, it's
Well, you
yeah,
can
we
stop
try.
in Perth. I'll help you in Perth. Well, this is half of a global day, because I'm doing like 12 hours or 13
Wow.
hours. So
Wow, yeah, it's just a lot of effort that goes into such things. So
yeah, no, for sure. Well, it's yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun working with you off and on over the years as well, and maybe we can do some things in the future also, so as you unroll your campaigns or whatever. So it's again, like, it's been a really cool story to watch as well from the sidelines, to just kind of see the company grow, because I remember, yeah, just encountering it, and it must have been 2013, maybe 2014, and then 2015, 16, you getting some traction, and today it's like, yeah, you're one of the big behemoths of the search engine marketing world. So thank you for sharing this story with us today, Olga.
thank you, and congrats on the opening.
Yeah,
This
no,
is a
thank you. Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. So that's ultimately what we're here. And that's why I brought everybody together, was just to kind of talk about how does strategy fit. And then I think you answered those questions. I mean, it has to be customized, but looking at, how you're moving to more emotive marketing, how you're moving to more of a lifestyle brand, as well, is super important. And sometimes we don't necessarily articulate the specific steps that we go through, but that's okay. The outcome is ultimately where we want to head and what we want to do, as well. So thank you so much, Olga. I really appreciate your time, and maybe we can chat again soon sometime. I'm just going to go through a spiel, and if you want to drop off now, that's totally cool. And then I'm going to introduce the next speakers as well. So again, thank you for joining me. So just to wrap up with our conversation, I have some amazing speakers coming up. We're at set number 9, I think. We're about halfway through, so we've got to go till another 7 hours, I think, 6-7 hours. So I'm looking forward to it, because we've got some great speakers. So I'm just going to share my screen, and then I'm going to reset. And Miguel, thanks for joining us. I see you're in the stands there. I'll bring you on very, very shortly. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
You're looking
Amazing.
very sharp there.
It's just starting today.
Yeah, that's true. It is
You
early
have
for
to
you.
see me in the evening, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A bit more ragged and the beard's growing. Yeah, no, for sure. Excellent. So I'm just going to do my intro, or sorry, my close off this section and then we'll kind of reset everything, and I'll bring you in as well. So hang on and I'll be back right with you. So, all right. So where are we? I just got to set everything up here. So many buttons to always press press the buttons. Okay, let's go here. All right, so we have it's been an amazing day so far. We're up to session number, I'll have to count. I think I lost track, but I'll hopefully bring up the count later. But welcome to the new Blue Sky Strategy Studio grand opening today. I'm here with a number of guests, 24 guests, to speak with me about strategy for the launch of Strategystorming.co. And I have Miguel Machado from all the way from the Keen Folk Agency in Barcelona. So it's just the sun's just starting to rise, I guess, or Miguel's just rising for his day as well. So I really want to thank everybody who joined me today. We were just speaking with Olga Andrienko from SEMrush, one of the big search engine marketing companies around the world, and they've had an amazing story over the years. And then previous to that, in this session, we had Geoff Hetherington from the East Coast of Australia, who talked to us about a lot about the operational strategy and the things that we sometimes forget about what's important and what's not, and how we need to know the numbers, I think was the final message that Geoff talked about as well. So coming up really, really soon, we're going to speak with Miguel. And then up next at 1:30, we've got Tim Kortanovas, business consultant. He's going to talk about AI, sales, innovation. He's joining us from Germany. And one of the cool things that today brought was actually connecting with 24 of these amazing people throughout the day. And we're about halfway through. We're about halfway. So we've got Miguel and Tim, and then we're going to come back with Dave from here in Australia, and then back to the UK with Tim Ellis, and then a few others down the road as well. So if you're watching on the live stream, we're going to be switching off this live stream and jumping onto another one coming up really, really soon as well. And if you wanted to jump into the Zoom room and ask questions of the speakers, feel free to do that as well. You can go to bits.ly/grand opening 2022 as well. Part of what we're talking about today is the grand opening of Strategystorming.co, and you can actually go and win a number of prizes. I have a whole stack of books. I'm giving away my book as well, as if you can see in the camera. I might have to change the view here. In the Magic Cam, I've got some workbooks, some worksheets to give away, which I'm going to go through also. And just to, it's meant to have a fun day. And ultimately, what we want to do is I created this to be able to create like a space for strategists, strategic thinkers, and people who want to kind of create and craft better strategy to come and organize and get the tools and get the techniques and get the strategies and strategic thinking ideas as well, and do it differently and do it creatively as well. How we rethink, reinvent, and reimagine rather how we do business is really important as well as we get into this. So, and you also going to win a pair of 3D glasses if you sign up. I'll send these to you. I think we're calling these, I've had some suggestions throughout the day, but these aren't AR, or these are DR, Doyle Robert Buehler bullshit detectors to kind of help you see past everything. Or you can see your new model, which I've been talking about throughout the day as well in 3D. But anyway, everybody will get a pair of those just for fun. And that's kind of what we want to do too, is business is serious enough. We want to make sure that we're not doing things too seriously. So as a result of that, we put together what I call the strategy lab coat, right? As we took chemistry class many, many years ago, what did we figure out? That when we put on our lab coat, we knew we had to do something important. So we're giving a couple of those away. Your Strategystorming Team Awesome lab coat that you can win. Just point your camera up at the QR code and enter to win that. And we've got a number of other prizes, like I mentioned, books that I'm giving away, a stack of books. We had a bunch of authors on earlier. Andrew Griffiths from Australia, one of Australia's top selling business authors as well. I love it as well. If you could take a look at the neuromarketing advantage of strategy, it's basically what I call strategic dynamics, being able to understand where you sit, what profile you have in terms of how do you think strategically. A little bit. Are you a learner? Are you a creator? Are you a craftsman? Are you an innovator? That sort of thing. So it gives you takes a couple minutes. It asks you through about 12 questions or so, and that gives you a profile as well. And we've had some really cool results with that as well in terms of what they are and what they thought they were. which was pretty neat to see. So again, bit.ly/SD score, or just scan the QR code and away we go. Everything is on sale on the shop as well. We have workshops, courses coming up. Our big one, the Strategy Academy 2023 Annual Strategy Planning Festival, is coming up the middle of November. So you can get a discount if you purchase that today as well. And the 2022 strategy survey as well. I really love your feedback, your insights in terms of how do you see strategy, strategic thinking, and how important it is or not, or do you do it, or can you do more of it, type thing. So every year I run this survey where we're able to see and get a snapshot of what businesses are seeing and how they're seeing it as well. So if you could do that, that would be fantastic. bit.ly/strategy survey 2022. And the last thing is a gift. I'm just going to quickly show this, change the cam in a second, but the Strategy Canvas workbook, if you go to the site, and you can order it for free, get the free download if you enter in the code Strategystorming DD at the bottom as well. So excellent. So let's get started. Today I have, or this afternoon, this morning, this evening, I got Miguel Machado all the way from the Keen folk out of Barcelona. So welcome, Miguel. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me, Doyle. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, no, it's always good to talk and see how business is going. So tell me a bit about yourself, about the Keen folks, and then we'll get into the good stuff, the future stuff, and the strategies and all that.
Well, amazing. So I'm CEO and co-founder at the Keen folks. The Keen folks is a global startup that's born in Barcelona 4 years ago. And 2 years ago, we opened in Mexico. And this year we are opening in New York. Even if we are doing business with US since the beginning. So from these locations, we work for more than 40 countries in the world. And we work for top brands like Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Kellogg's, Mars, Merck Pharmaceuticals, between many others. So, and what we do is somehow through a model that combines consultancy, marketing operation, and technology, helping them to accelerate sales with a clear vision, okay? That connects human understanding and technology. That finally is the base for success. I think I missed you for a moment.
Yeah,
I cannot hear you. No,
yeah, that's okay. My apologies.
Yes.
Sometimes
no, okay.
the tech gets in the way. So where do you see yourself heading? Like you've seen some really amazing growth and some really cool awards recently. Like what
Yes.
kind of contributed to your success there, and where are you headed?
Well, there are 2 or 3 things that are important, and the first one I would say is the purpose. So the purpose of the Keen folks since the beginning was that we want to find our best self. Okay, between my co-founder Xavi and me, since we started the Keen folks, it was always in this mentality of hypergrowth, of challenge, no? And when we think about growth, we don't think about financial growth or only business growth. We also think about personal growth. So in this journey, this has been a fundamental, because in every day we do new things. We are challenged. We get to new technology, innovation. And what we do is inspiring not only to us, but to the team to do the same, and to our clients to do the same. So we talk about fuel the greatness as one of the big mottos at the Keen folks, like understanding how can you get to your best self and deliver the best you have. And that has been, I would say, one of the keys, the purpose.
So how does that translate into, like, has that been deliberate then? Like, do you have a specific program or a plan that you kind of bring your whole team through? And is that kind of a bottom up approach or a top down approach, or?
Yes. So since the beginning, what we identified in the market, that was this big opportunity that was not being solved. And the opportunity was about closing the gap between the speed of the consumer when adopting new technologies and changing the way that they consume and that they interact, and the capacity for global companies to adapt their strategy and connect with that realities. So, and we identified that this gap wasn't really being fulfilled from with the current solutions in the market. Like, for example, consultancies that come, they do an excellent work, but all of a sudden they deliver a plan, but they don't really go to execution. Or from a marketing agency's point of view, that they come and they are very focused on the channels, like let's do paid media, let's do this, and let's do that. Or from a technology development, where somebody comes and actually deliver more a tool or a platform. And what we thought at that moment was, there is nobody really solving the big problem. And the big problem is the vision, the strategy, and how you connect these three big pieces in a purposeful way, connecting with business objectives, not likes, not shares, not visits, but actually business objectives. And since then, what we did was to really establish like global partnerships, normally with not only with the headquarters, with VPs, with CMOs, now with CEOs that are establishing the vision and helping them to establish the vision, but as well, and this is very important for us, with regions and countries, because you can have an amazing strategy, amazing vision, and you even can have this integration. But then if you are not able actually to guarantee that your strategy and your vision tells a story, okay, and that the countries or the local operations see this story as their own story, then the magic doesn't happen, because everybody thinks that their market is special and that it has a lot of different things. And there is the moment that things stop. And as you know, then as bigger as you are, you get more political. And this connection is a fundamental. And the connection, again, comes from a magic factor. It doesn't come from technology. It comes actually from the understanding of people, how we communicate, how can we connect, and how we can connect in a meaningful way through common purpose.
So how do you then coax that out, that magic? I love that, the magic factor, like when you get a new client or that sort of thing, like how do you actually pull that out so that you can kind of define that? I'm assuming that you want to kind of write it down at the end of the day. So how do you kind of pull that out from them and write it down or do something with it?
Yeah. So we have this digital gap management methodology that somehow it's 7 steps. And the first base is really understand the business, where the business is going. So this is the first thing, where they are, where the business is going, what are the current, their current digital ecosystem, their current technology, how they operate, what are their government levels, because this is important as well. And then we go down. And normally when we go down, we go more not only to corporate and to the global strategy, but as well to the brand strategy. So when we go to the brand strategy, we try to understand what are the marketing objectives now, where somehow they want to lead the brand, okay, and what are the market opportunities. And normally then we go very deep, okay? So when we go very deep, it's like meaning that we understand, we try to get to the insights that can actually connect the consumer, the brand, and the technology. And these insights, we have a methodology. So we develop our own methodology that it's called active micro moments. And what we try to identify is the intention that is beyond the searches of the consumer. And what we do is actually group keywords of intention that somehow beyond the volume of searches means business. And then what we do is help the brands to develop the content, okay, that can connect with that moments of intention. Meaning, like, for example, when we do searches, of course, there are several things that are beyond our intention. Now, obviously, no, we want to get educated. We are interested in getting design, or we are already ready to buy. And what we do is really try to connect that with meaningful insights from the brand. And then we establish the content that can connect with that. And throughout all the years and through this global methodology, when we establish that, then it's pretty easy to develop all the strategy, the vision that can connect from a global standpoint with technology, with the digital ecosystem, and empower somehow the content that do these connections. And from here comes the big impact that we have in terms of results. Because when you start testing and you start piloting, and we are very agile, we are a startup, so we always test everything that we do. Then is where we see the validations. And when we have validations, we can reinforce the strategy, we can reinforce the vision, and we invest more in technology, and we are able to scale from a global point of view, and help the brands finally to get this consistency and this integration that is key for execution and for the results.
No, that's fascinating. How do you, like, I love how you kind of take them on a journey and kind of deep dive into that, and it really sounds quite exciting. Is there stuff that kind of gets in the way though of kind of what would make the difference between a successful campaign and one that's not so successful? Like what's kind of pushing back, I guess, because we can do all this stuff, but is there like something that kind of prevents it from happening? Is it the business? Is it culture? Is it strategy? What might it be?
Well, there are like 3 or 4 big barriers now to implement a global plan that can really hit results and be successful. One is definitely top management ownership, and somehow responsibility in somehow evangelizing the full company. This is very important. It's important that from a top management point of view, there is a reinforcement of what is being done, because this connects somehow all the stakeholders. So this is one that is very key. The second that is very key is that actually organizations tend to work in silos. So you need to connect with the integrators, and how actually you can anticipate the difficulties that this represents. Now connect IT with marketing with the different countries, global and local now. And then I think that as any other initiative, it needs to be backed up, not only from top management but as well have the budget that requires in order to be fulfilled. So it needs to be something serious from the beginning to the end, and there needs to be intention, now a clear strategic intention in order to deliver and to make it through. And then I think that there is always execution challenges. And these execution challenges, the most important thing that I've discovered throughout all of these years, and we never lost a client, actually, so this is important to state, is the partnership that you get with the clients. This is actually the biggest difference. When you actually talk with the clients, it's your team, and they feel the same. They feel that we are their team. So when you face challenges, it's not the agency and the client. You face challenges as a team, and you discuss it, and you try to find solutions, and finally, you get over that problems because you work as a one. And that is a fundamental. Then of course comes technology, comes capabilities, comes competences, because they need to be there. But I would say that these 4 factors are fundamental to actually make it through.
Yeah, no, for sure. It sounds like you don't rely on technology. It's refreshing, I think, because you don't rely on it. It's obviously important, but it's not kind of that linchpin. It's not that keystone to being a great company. Would you agree? Or it's a support role?
Well, we are fundamentally a technology company. So all that we do actually is backed up by the latest technology, for Web3, data and AI, all the part of marketing technology. And we put the best, not only from the actually technology that exists, but we also develop technology tailor-made for the clients in order to guarantee that we fulfill the vision. Right. But as well, proprietary technology internally. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, but it doesn't seem like you, I mean, yes, you're a technology developer, and yes, you use technology, but you've kind of pushed past that to say, well, it's not 100% about the technology. It's more about the business. It's about the story. It's about connecting that emotive language. It's about understanding, those different insights and levels between them and their customers and that sort of thing. So yeah, so I wasn't implying that you didn't do technology, just that you've kind of looked at it from a more holistic perspective to say we need technology without question, but we also need to balance it with, again, building a successful brand, being able to have, the focus on the search, the intention, testing it, and that sort of thing as well. Do you agree, or?
Yeah, I love the way that you are putting it. So because it's exactly like that. So we are somehow a combination, and that is the way that we go through it. We are a combination, and we are integrators. So we are integrators in three dimensions. Okay. We integrate from a consultancy, marketing agency, operation, and technology. So this is the first level of integration. Then we work very much to integrate business with consumer and technology. And then the final level of integration is between global headquarters, regional headquarters, and finally countries. And we work in these three levels of integration because we discover that you cannot do any without the other. And normally when you do it in a silo or with just one angle, you cannot actually impact the results and accelerate the results like we do. And for us, that's the fundamental. So for us, there is no technology without human experience, just like that, because we work to serve human experience. So actually, if your perspective doesn't come from there, normally technology will not succeed.
Yeah, and that's beautifully said. There's no technology without the human experience, and I guess that's what I was trying to say. But you said it just so clear. Like, yeah, it's important and it gets you to where you want to go, but it's not at the expense of the human experience, kind of thing. So, yeah, it's brilliant work that you're doing, Miguel. I really congratulate you on your successes that you've been able to achieve, and all of the studies as well that I've been a part of. I really appreciate being able to be involved in those, and hopefully the digital gap number 3 coming up. So
we are really excited. So we live in a moment that is very important for us. So we are relaunching Kinfolks, assuming even more the role that we have. So today we are not an agency, okay, and we are not only a tech startup. We are much more a community, okay. And I think that we as a community, and we cover a lot of different angles. We cover angles where we have a very strong network of ambassadors, of CEOs, CMOs, VPs, from companies that we work with and companies that we never worked with. And they actually recommend us to start working with someone else. It's incredible because they really love our vibe, the dynamic way that we see the world, and they connect with us. And then we have, of course, a very strong community of thoughtful leaders, and there is you, Doyle, that I really appreciate all the involvement that you had since the beginning. I think that you have so many things like of kinfolks. You are so keen, no, in values, in understanding keen. The way that, yeah, you are super keen, absolutely. And you are so open, no, to collaboration and all that. And this is so much our values. And we have all these people around, like team as well, that I see that it just connect. And that give us so much, and we try to give more, okay? And this is a relationship that needs to continue. And then, of course, we have K-Folks, that is a global network of freelancers, people that connect with us. So we are creating this big community that can serve the fundamental purpose that we have as an organization, that finally is to deliver a global digital transformation project that impacts the society and that can bring results not only for the companies but as well for the consumer in the right direction. And we believe that this community is actually part of our identity. So and this is the word that we want to bring out. And connected with that, we are launching the Kin Circle. So Kin Circle is an NFT that somehow can give and the way that we are seeing is really this co-founder role, where we are connecting all these people right? In the big purpose, okay, with a clear roadmap of new things that we're going to do. So we will start by, of course, offering networking between all these amazing people, okay, and easy access to all of them. We are, of course, working and offering a lot of education in Web3. So we are launching a course. We are delivering more value, more resources, and this is one of our objectives as well. Like, we have the responsibility to push forward the society in a moment that everything is changing. And then the third part that is important as well is that we want to build the opportunity to do new things together. So we don't have like a definitive roadmap, but we have a lot of ideas. And these ideas, the idea is really to collaborate together. And what it allows from the Web3 and right now from an NFT point of view, it's that we can build together and we can earn together and we can collaborate in a more easy way than ever. And this is the power that we want to open through. And for us is really a very important moment that we will have an event in Barcelona, by the way, in November the 30th. Big event where we'll bring a lot of people to talk, experts in Web3 worldwide, that we'll bring together. And this is just a starting point, because our idea is to make it really big and be an enabler.
No, fantastic. You're doing some amazing things for the industry, and you've got all the players and all the pieces in place and the strategy as well to back it up. So it's really cool to see how you've kind of put these pieces in place and how you're implementing and executing. I think you mentioned that at the beginning, that execution is super key. Like, you can have the best strategy in the world, but unless you're executing it properly and effectively, it could be worse than doing nothing. So
yeah.
Thank you so much, Miguel, for the conversation. I really enjoyed it, and thank you for joining in today. It's obviously a special day for myself, being able to kind of bring this to everybody around the world, strategystorming.co, and giving, again, as I said, the tools and the capabilities to help with that process. And not that we necessarily helped in your strategy, but we can see, and I hope everybody is able to pick that up, is that by having that clarity in your vision, but also in the pieces that pull it all together, you can make some huge strides like the Keen folks have done. So kudos to you, Miguel.
Congratulations for all that you're doing as well for the launch. It's amazing. And the way that you are putting all together, it's so modern, so fresh, and so inspiring. So congratulations for that, and keep on though, because you still have some hours ahead, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I've got a few more, but you know what? They won't be as smart and good looking as Miguel, I must say.
I don't know about that, man.
Yeah, except Tim.
Thank you.
Except Tim, because Tim's waiting in the
Exactly.
sidelines there. Yeah, cool. So thanks, Miguel.
Thank you.
Welcome, Tim, and thanks, Miguel. If you wanted to pop off,
feel
free as well. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Doyle, hi team, how are you doing? We're going to actually.
Hi, Miguel. See you later. Today. I'm looking forward.
Yeah, we see you later as well. We have a webinar in the end of the day.
Yeah,
so, yeah. Thank you very much, Doyle. All the best, and we'll keep on. There is a lot to talk over. So
yeah,
thank
absolutely.
you very much, Doyle.
Thanks, Miguel.
Bye, team. Good to see you. Bye. Ciao, ciao.
Bye, Miguel. Adios.
Excellent. Welcome, Tim. I'm just going to close off this session, and then we'll kind of quickly start a new one. So I'll turn off the live and just kind of do my spiel, and then we'll restart and reset everything as well. So, so for those,
my camera on?
No, that's fine. Don't worry. Yeah, we're all here. We're all friends. So yeah, we're just kind of, just for the continuity, I'm trying to break it up so it's not like one big 13-hour live stream or one big 13-hour video recording as well. So just to recap, we just had Miguel Machado. How do you actually pronounce his last name? I'm not sure if I got that right now that he's gone.
Machado.
Miguel Machado. Okay, it's a hard CH. Anyway, we had Miguel Machado from the Keen folks, who was talking to us about how he's used strategy quite effectively in terms of building the business, and they've seen some amazing growth over the last a couple of years since they started as well. So next up we have, and I'm going to break this up. I'm going to start a new session coming up, but the ultimate goal here is to talk about the grand opening of Strategystorming.co, where we can come and celebrate the grand opening, the online strategy studio and shop that is changing how we rethink, reinvent, and reimagine how to do better business, and ultimately give us the tools, the techniques, the technologies, and the pieces that allow us to be more strategic in our thinking, and being able to create that foundation, that strategic foundation that's so important, and that can help businesses kind of manage the chaos that we're currently seeing, and help craft winning strategy, and help craft, a difference in the world, and how they're going to be doing that as well. So I want to thank Miguel for speaking, and we're going to turn off this session coming right up, and then we'll be right back with Tim Cortinovas joining us all the way from, where are you joining us from? Germany?
Hamburg. Germany, yes, Hamburg, northern part of Germany.
Perfect. Excellent. So we'll see everybody back in a couple minutes. I'm just going to reset and refresh and restream as well.